Once again, I would like to introduce the Mayor of Orland Park, Keith Pekau. Keith, come on up. Round of applause for Mayor Pekau. Okay.
Thank you, Daryl. And it's Trustee Katsinas and Trustee Radishevsky. So Daryl has trouble with Greek and Polish. So I do want to thank everyone for joining us today and supporting our various veterans groups. I also want to thank Daryl Wertheim, Dale Carver, and the rest of the Veterans Commission and all the volunteers that came out and helped today. The last few weeks have been particularly challenging for many of our veterans. The poorly handled withdrawal from Iraq in 2011 led to the emergence of ISIS, which further destabilized the Middle East. Unfortunately, as we all know, we followed that up recently with a disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, which ended today, and we left people behind. I want to be clear, these mistakes were not made by our incredibly courageous American servicemen and women. They were made by civilian leadership. This leadership has damaged our relationships with our NATO allies and even resulted in a rebuke from the British, our strongest ally. I would like to ask all the veterans from Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom to please stand up. Any of you here? I want to personally thank you for your service in these operations. While it may seem otherwise, your service was not in vain, and it will not be forgotten. I know that many of you have friends, brothers and sisters in arms, or others that you know that are at risk in Afghanistan as we speak. I would ask everyone to join me in a moment of silence and prayer for their safe escape and for the safety of all those that are involved in this evacuation and everyone that was left behind. Thank you. Do we have any veterans from the Gulf War? If we do, please stand up. I can't be the only one. We have an old crowd today. How about those of you from the Vietnam veterans, that are Vietnam veterans? Please stand up. Those of us who followed you owe you a debt of gratitude because of the way that you were treated when returning home, which was a national embarrassment, and we should never repeat. We were treated better, so thank you. How about the Korean War? Anybody from the Korean War still here? I know we had some from earlier. Well, for those of you who don't know, this war is still technically going on and has been for the last 71 years. It is often known as the Forgotten War, but those Korean War veterans are not forgotten. And is Rich still here from World War II?
I think he went home.
I think he went home. It's a long day for him. So we need to all remember that there are very few veterans of World War II left, as the youngest of them is 94 years old. Please take the time to hear their stories, as we need to keep their stories alive so that we don't repeat past mistakes and not learn from history. We can't thank all of the veterans here enough for all that you've done for us. All of the veterans here today, including myself, took an oath that is important to us. The oath says, I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I take this obligation freely, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. We took that oath of our own free will. I, like most veterans and like many of you, find myself in a time that I did not ever think would exist in America. Our Constitution, the very principles of our republic, are being ignored. Just a few recent examples. The CDC instituted a moratorium on evictions, which takes away property without just compensation in violation of the Fifth Amendment. On August 10th, a Cook County judge took away the parental rights from a woman because she was not vaccinated for COVID. Earlier this month, the State of Illinois Medical License Agency started an investigation into a doctor for his stance against mandated masking as an elected member of a school board. One man has mandated vaccinations for healthcare workers, teachers, other school personnel, all students at any university, college, community college, junior college, business, technical, or vocational school in the state. One man has mandated that a chemical be put in hundreds of thousands of people's bodies, with or without their consent, not voluntarily. If they do not do so, they must submit to testing. To me, all of these actions are horrifying, and they were taken without passing any laws. This happens in China, it happens in Russia, it happens in North Korea, Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, and other countries that are not free. It shouldn't happen here. What have we come to? This is not what I fought for. It's not what any of the veterans here fought for. We fought for an idea. We fought for the American idea. An idea that we should all be grateful and thankful to be a part of. An idea framed and described in the Declaration of Independence that was signed on July 4th, 245 years ago. An idea that is encapsulated in 2 sentences from that very declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. America is an idea that many brave Americans have fought and died to protect. An idea that over the last 18 months seems to have been forgotten by those in power and control. The men and women we honor here today fought for this idea, risked their lives for this idea, and some people that we know died for this idea. I want to thank you all for joining me here today to honor them. However, the best way to honor veterans like myself is to demand that we follow the processes set forth in the Constitution. Ask your elected representatives at all levels, from school board and library board all the way up to the State House and the Congress, to debate and vote on these important issues we face in public and stop allowing administrative bodies and power-hungry single politicians to strip people of their right via fiat. This is the moment for all of us to stand up and ensure that the sacrifices made for all of the veterans over the last 245 years are not in vain. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pekau. We have a special honor. Thank you, Mayor Pekau. Round of applause for Mayor. We have a special guest here today, a gentleman who, from Hickory Hills, Illinois. Jim Kruse and Kruse's Krew is a group that works every month for the last many years, 15 years or more, 16 years, to send packages out to our men and women in the military all over the world. The Orland Park Veterans Commission supports him financially. It also gathers items for him. I want him to come up and say a few words. Mr. Jim Kruse, round of applause.
I was told to be brief because I know you want to eat. My group, Kruse's Krew, has been sending care packages for 17 years. We haven't missed a month. Even when I was in the hospital with a 4-way bypass, my volunteers got packages out to our troops. A month ago, I'm talking to my volunteers, all who are 80s. I'm the young one, I'm 73. And they said, let's go to Christmas. You know, they're coming home, and we've done what we could. After the last 2 weeks, we've determined we are quitting. You know, we have troops all over the world. We have them in Israel, we have them in Lithuania, we have them in Romania, we have them in Bulgaria, we have them in Korea, we have them in the Horn of Africa, we have them in Qatar, Saudi Arabia. We have them all over the world, and we've supported them all over. Marines, Air Force, Army, and Navy. We're going to continue to do that. The commission here has been helping us collecting items. This pandemic has been tough. We've not been able to get as much of the items as we needed. We're starting to run out, but the commission and also Gail Blummer has talked to the Orland Park Lions, possibly helping us there too. I don't know what you that have never served don't understand that when you're over there, your clothes are government, your food is government, where you live is government, but mail is home. And that's what we give. I'd like to close this with a little poem. It's not long, but I think it's one of the reasons why I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. God, you know where every deployed soldier is today. You know where their assignments, their thoughts, their fears. Guard them. Body, soul, and mind. Draw every one of them close to you as they face the intense situations. Be their peace. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our country. And God bless our troops.
Mr. Jim Kruse. Thank you very much, Mr. Kruse. What a great job. Every once in a while, we'll get an email or a picture from overseas, and they've come from all over the world, so it's pretty inspirational. His packages are really a lifesaver for our troops overseas, men and women. Thank you, Mr. Kruse. Another round of applause for Jim Kruse. Thank you so much. I understand we have one more brief speaker, Tom Dubelbeis. Tom, you want to come up and say a few words? Round of applause for Tom Dubelbeis, who was on our committee this year.
So I never met a Mike I didn't like, so I might be up here for a while. The reason I'm here, I want to acknowledge 4 veterans and 4 patriots. With this golf outing, which has been going on for 4 years, we're going to go over the $100,000 mark. So they've done a hell of a job. I want to acknowledge 4 veterans and 4 patriots, which really have put an awful lot of work into this golf outing and everything else we do for the veterans in the village. So Jim Thompson, Dale Wertheim, Dale Carver, and Mayor Pekau, please, front and center. So what I have up here is a coin, and the front of the coin says, "Thank you for your service," and it mentions each of the branches of services. On the back it says, "Home of the free because of the brave," and it's because of these 4 men and other patriots and veterans that we live in the land of the free. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
thank you very much. Okay, party, have fun, spend more money. Thank you.
Spend more money.
Okay, that's a good idea. We still have some wine left and some raffle time left. Feel free to buy your tickets. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Tom Dubelbeis. It's a very special honor to welcome retired Colonel Joel Van Essen, Navy CB, who is the Orland Park Public Works Director. Colonel Van Essen, please step up.
Thank you. I'll keep it short as well. But thank you for inviting me to say a few words, which is for this main fundraiser for the Veterans Commission. As a 20-year Navy vet, I just retired about 5 years ago. Served 2 times in Afghanistan, so the points made by the mayor are true. It's tough to see that serving over there. But just want to say thank you for all the sponsors that were today. Great job. And also all the veterans here. If you're a veteran, raise your hand. Fellow veterans, outstanding. Thank you all. Our armed forces is a true melting pot, united by a love of country, belief in freedom, and a faith in America's future. And each of you have served our nation in many different places in different ways. Because of your service and the sacrifice of the veterans, we live in the strongest, freest, and greatest nation of the history of the world. As our founding president, George Washington, wrote, though, the willingness of future generations to serve in our military will be directly dependent upon how we treat those who serve in the past. And today is a great example of how we are donating time and our money to help support our veterans. So thank you for coming out today. Planning this event really promotes the basic American values of through holiday ceremonies and so forth. And the Veteran Commission does a great job of providing those services. So the Veterans Garage, the improved quality of veterans' homes, scholarships for veterans' families, programs related to wounded warriors, all those kind of events. And just recently, we have started the program to have the banners put up along Ravinia Ave to show some veterans who have served in our nation. Now, veterans bear visible signs of their service. Maybe they have a missing limb, a jagged scar, a limp, but some of them carry it inside as well. Maybe a pin or a shrapnel, or they're affected by PTSD. You often can't tell a vet by just looking at a vet. A vet could be a guy in the grocery line, right, who stood the watch on the 38th parallel. Or a cop who spent 6 months in Kuwait sweating in 120 degrees, guarding a base perimeter. A vet could be a nurse who tirelessly patched an endless soldier in Vietnam. Or a private who crawled into holes, not knowing if a booby trap was just waiting for him. A vet could be a POW who went away one person and came back another. A guy who patrolled 5 miles a day in Afghanistan, avoiding IEDs just around every corner. A vet has often unsung valor in the battlefield, in the air, or on the sea. But who is just ordinary, but yet extraordinary human being. A person who offered some of his life most vital years of service to our country, and who sacrificed his ambitions so others would not have sacrifices their own. And so these veteran programs are so valuable and so appreciative to support our vets. And often I say, and I feel this often to myself, that if you go see a vet, if you know a person's a vet, just say thank you. Most of us could say that, right? Thank you. Because it means more to them than probably any medals or that they could have ever gotten. It's just going up to a person saying thank you. And it really hits home when somebody says that. So with that, I just want to say thank you for all that you did as a vet and all your support for our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Van Essen.